Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast, the Drafted Up Podcast. Today, it's week 2. We're going to talk about every game on the week 2 slate, and we're going to give you our thoughts and all that stuff, who to play, who we're not playing, who we're into, all that kind of good stuff. So we also got our plays of the week. Big week here. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. You know where to find us. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you watch or listen to your shows, we'll be there. Search Drafted Up Podcast, like, rate, subscribe, review, share, all that good stuff. We appreciate the support. Nicholas, how are you doing today?
Doing good, man. Pretty successful week 1 for me fantasy-wise. Won in most of my leagues. Freaking blink of an eye, though, we're already at week 2, dude. It's just going to keep rolling that way. It's going to go hella fast like every other season. But I'm ready to dive in week 2, man. I have a couple good games on the slate for sure, and I'm ready to talk starts of the weeks for sure.
Yeah, plays of the week. You beat me week 1 by 0.04 points.
I have no idea how that happened because I think 3 of my 4 guys absolutely shit the bed. I think James Conner was the only one who produced.
J.J. McCarthy had 24 points.
Yeah, he turned it up at the end. That is true. I forgot. Three
touchdowns. Drake May only had 16.5. That was our real big difference. Connor 14.4. Tony Pollard 7.9. Jameson Williams 6.6. Jerry Jeudy 11.6. Mark Andrews 1.5. And Hunter Henry 10.6. My guys just kind of fluttered in mediocrity where you had a big score. You had 2 of the 3 highest scoring guys on the week.
Yeah.
And JJ really bumped you up with the 3 touchdowns there, but
hey man, that's just another thing JJ carried me to victory in, man. So I'm full steam ahead with JJ, man, especially because I got Purdy in a couple weeks, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, let's get there. News pretty much confirmed. Brock Purdy's going to miss a good amount of time. He's got
2 to 5 weeks.
He's got a turf toe situation going on, and that's not ideal. Turf toe, like that took Charles Woodson out for like a whole season. Like he tried to play through it and he was just bad.
Jeremy Shockey.
Jeremy Shockey as well. Like, yeah, turf toe, like you like to make fun of it and laugh like, oh, it's just a toe injury. It messes you up real good. So hopefully Brock Purdy's able to get the proper rest and bounce back from that injury.
From what I've heard, it's not full-blown turf toe. It's a form of turf toe. So I don't think it's as severe as like major turf toe.
Okay.
But still, man, something's going on with the Niners, and I got a feeling Christian McCaffrey's back there draining the life force out of every other Niner on that team. But if McCaffrey keeps getting 30-some touches a game, brother, I'm happy with it.
He's just out there sacrificing people's lives. Scarlet Witch has him on the table. He's just breathing the life out of him.
Hey, man, I'm secretly helping the guy out. I'm not going to lie to you. I got an agenda to push, brother.
That has been your agenda, so it'll be interesting if that continues to hold steady there between the San Francisco 49ers health situation. Dallas Goedert, he's also banged up, so his week 2's in question. He's got a knee injury, and
Evan Ingram was full in practice today, so he should be good to go.
And then the Falcons
Xavier Worthy was limited in practice today, so he was actually out there. I still don't think he ends up suiting up, but I kind of expect to be out there week 3, though. If he's already practicing limited, I don't think he's going to be 100% full go week 3, but I do kind of think he's going to be out there.
Yeah, I think if he is out there this week, he is just going to be, it's a decoy situation.
I agree. If he's out there this week, it's not
it'll be
much.
A minimal snap, a quick gadget play here and there, see how his body holds up, but it won't be anything of note where you can play him in fantasy. Like if he's active, I'm not putting him in my lineup.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would start Brown over him, regardless of if he plays or not. So, Brock Bowers did not practice today, but he plays Monday, so there's still a chance he definitely suits up.
Yeah, that one's tough finding an alternative.
That's tough because he plays Monday.
Like, I guess you go with Michael Mayer.
That's the move. If Bowers is out, slide him to your IR and pick up Mayer. He's not going to be picked up in your league. And he had a really good week 1. He was out there a bunch. He had like 7-8 points. They used him as an actual tight end to where they moved Brock Bowers around a lot. They ran a bunch of 2 tight ends. Michael Mayer would be your guy if Brock Bowers is out Monday.
Yeah, there is 2 Monday games though. The Bucks play
there is
Monday.
this week. You are correct. Yeah,
they're
so
playing.
you could snag up K-Dot and
who the Bucks play? I don't know off the top of my head.
I'm going to the schedule now. This is solid podcasting. They play Monday night. They play at Houston.
Okay, so Dalton Schultz is an option. K-Dot and Michael Mayer. I wouldn't mess around with any of the Chargers tight ends, but at least having the 2 Monday night games really helps you out there a little bit. Hopefully the Raiders are kind and tell us Brock Bowers is out if he's not going to play on Sunday, so it allows you to kind of skip this situation like Atlanta did. Atlanta has announced that Drake London is expected to play on Sunday. Darnell Mooney's also back at practice, so we'll see if he's out there as well. So this is good for Penix and crew for the Sunday night game, whereas if London and Mooney weren't out there, it was really Kyle Pitts and a bunch of no-namers.
Yeah, because Casey Washington, who's seen 6 targets week 1, he was also limited in practice this week, so he might not be out there. If he wouldn't have been out there, Mooney, London, Kyle Pitts was almost my start of the week, but with London playing this week, I kind of
you pulled back
tempered expectations. Yeah, Juwan Jennings also did not practice today, so his status is still up in the air for Sunday's game. So the Niners are banged up, dude.
Yeah. Maybe the Saints are a sneaky DST play this week.
More power to you if you're willing to start the Saints in anything.
Yeah. All right. Anything else worthwhile?
No, I think that hits on most of the practices for the day. Kayshon Boutte was also limited, but he should be out there. Jalen Waddle, of course, limited because it's Jalen Waddle.
Always is. Yeah.
But yeah, those guys are both expected to be out there this week, so just keep an eye on all these people's names to make sure nothing flares up Saturday, Sunday, right before the games.
Yeah. All right. First game on the docket, week 2. The Buffalo Bills.
We didn't do our starts of the week,
do our plays of the week.
This guy's way ahead of the game.
I thought we did the plays of the week because we talked about them. You beating me.
We did.
And then I went to the news. The W Energy plays of the week this week. One of us is going to eat that dub. Last week it was Nick by a very small margin. So we'll see what it is this week. W Energy, clean, better energy. They pride themselves on full ingredient disclosure. They got a ton of flavors. Good stuff. Use the code DRAFTEDUP and you'll get 10% off any purchase, every purchase you make. That code never expires. If you're not in energy, they also have hydration. They're bringing their hats back, so I might have to snag one of those. Big hat guy over here, but they got merch as well, shakers, all that kind of cool stuff. So check them out. They have an app. Search it, WDUBBY in your app store. Go to their site, w.gg. Like I said, use the code DRAFTEDUP for 10% off your purchase. Be better. Eat that dub with W Energy. Let's eat those dubs. Week 2. Nick, who is your quarterback play of the week?
Let's get it, baby. Man, I was very confident on early preseason. Even before that, he was in my top 12 quarterbacks of the season. It's Justin Herbert of the Chargers, dude. He's going up against Vegas, so it's on the road, but I'm not too worried about that. He had an outstanding week 1 versus the Chiefs, and I don't think that there's a lot of talks that it's like, oh, that was just their game plan because they were trying to catch the Chiefs off guard, and Chiefs all thought they were going to be run heavy, so we're going to get out there pass heavy. I don't think that's the case, man. The Chargers the last 4 weeks of last season were crazy pass heavy, even a little bit more than 4 weeks. Week 1, they came out slinging. Herbert had 34 attempts, completed 25 of them. Outstanding completion percentage, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He added 32 yards on the ground. I don't think that's going to be a consistent thing, but if he's giving me 20 to 30 rushing yards on the ground, that's a great baseline to start your game off with 2 to 3 points already. Herbert versus Oakland here, or the Raiders, Vegas. I'm never going to get their city correct. I think he's in line to have a Mondo week again. He's got phenomenal weapons. Like, how can you stop this offense, dude? Like, I like all 3 of the receivers. They arguably have the best offensive line in football. It's a shame Slater's out for the season, dude. Like, if he was there, I would even more lock the Chargers in to win this division than I already have them winning. I'm obsessed with the Chargers this year, and Justin Herbert is full steam ahead. Is, in my eyes, a start every single week, but I like the matchup a lot this week. So Justin Herbert, start of the week for quarterback. Lock him in. Don't even worry about it.
I'm going with another Justin, Justin who's been a little bit of a up and down through his fantasy career in the NFL, and that's Justin Fields of the New York Jets. They're
Ah,
taking on the Buffalo Bills in New York. Fields was incredible week one versus Pittsburgh.
so good.
Almost 73% completion percentage. If you his adjusted completion percentage, if you want to get into analytics, tops this week in the NFL. Number one.
Hmm.
He averaged almost 10 yards a pass. It was at 9.9. He had 218 yards, 16 for 22, really accurate. Uh, Added a passing touchdown, no turnovers. He also added 48 yards on the ground and another 3 touchdown performance. Buffalo's defense last week got shredded by Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. They were giving up yards left and right, got caught in a shootout. And if Justin Fields plays anything like he did Sunday against Pittsburgh, we're in line for another shootout here. In Fields, he only took 1 sack. His pocket presence was better. He wasn't necessarily
Hmm.
looking to run. He was poised back there. He looked like a professional quarterback. It looked like everything clicked for him. And that had happened last year, off and on in Pittsburgh. Just wasn't consistent. But the Jets game week one versus Pittsburgh was probably the best Justin Fields has ever looked from a professional standpoint. And if he continues on that track, I think you have a cheap QB1 for fantasy football going forward. Buffalo's defense, like I said, shredded up by Baltimore week one. I kind of think we're going to get another shootout here, so I'm all in on Justin Fields this week, and the New York Jets offense in general might be better than we think it is.
Yeah, no, I kind of think it's going to be better than we imagined for sure. I don't know how consistent they're going to be. I don't think it's going to look like week one every single week, but yeah, dude, Fields is for sure. He should be on teams. A little bit of an inside real quick just to get off track. I have Worthy on our main league or home league, and I can't move him to the IR because he's still questionable. So I had to pull him off the IR, slide Brock Purdy there because thankfully he's now doubtful. But I still can't pick up Justin Fields because I can't move Worthy, and I don't have the extra bench spot. And I just really want to pick up Fields because he's still out there. So I'm in a bit of a pickle here. I'm like, do I just cut someone, pick up Fields, or do I wait for Worthy to be out? Because I would love to add Fields to McCarthy as my QB room right now because Purdy's going to be out. But, oh, man, the IR is killing me.
Yeah. All right, running backs. My running back, Chase Brown of the Cincinnati Bengals against the Jacksonville Jaguars. If you've listened to the show in the past, you know where I stand with Chase Brown and how good I think he is. And week one with the Bengals, it didn't change. He was out there for 75% of the snaps. He carried the majority of the Bengals' workload from the backfield. Nobody else was really touching his workload that you have to worry. And the Jaguars, the only positive of the Carolina offense was Chuba Hubbard week one. Chase Brown, the first drive of the game, was the best player on the field for Cincinnati. He carried that offense to their touchdown. He scored. And it looked like Chase Brown was on his way to being one of the top backs of the week. And then the Bengals offense just kind of sputtered. They ran into the great Cleveland defense. The Jacksonville Jaguars defense is not the Cleveland Browns. I expect a bounce back game from Chase Brown. If you were disappointed, he only had like 12 points and he had that all, half of that on that first drive. So I expect him to be more involved in the passing game. And overall, the Bengals offense to be much more efficient on Sunday against the Jaguars. So lock it in confidently. Still Chase Brown, top 10 play this week at the running back position.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Love Chase Brown on the pod. Can't say enough good things about that guy. Hopefully, the Bengals are able to put more consistent drives together. My running back of the week is another guy I was higher on than a little bit of some people, and definitely his running mate who's not in town anymore because Tank Bigsby got shipped off. It's Travis Etienne of the Jacksonville Jaguars going up against at Cincinnati. So we have opposite running backs here. Cincinnati's defense is abysmal, and I get they stopped Jerome Ford, but Jerome Ford wasn't that good.
But Dylan Sampson, yeah.
Exactly. Dylan Sampson had a bunch of catches, which Etienne is able to do. Etienne had half the rushing attempts in Jacksonville. He had 16 of the 32, and that's Tank Bigsby's 5. He was second. He's not there anymore. Travis Etienne had 143 yards last week out of Jacksonville's 200 rushing yards, so they ran the ball phenomenally. Etienne is going to be out there so much. They're not going to give it to Tootin yet. Maybe later in the season we start seeing Tootin being involved in the offense here and there, but Etienne's going to be the workhorse back for at least the next couple of weeks. I expect him to be out there close to 70% of the snaps, kind of like Chase Brown was for Cincinnati. It's ETN, dude. He had a monster week 1, 16 for 143, like I said. That's almost 9 yards a carry. I expect him to eat up in Cincinnati in another Mondo week here. So
if Travis Etienne comes out and does something similar to what he did against Carolina, I'm selling high. Someone's going to bite.
100%.
I'd be trying to move him and upgrade at really. Like if Chase Brown has a bad game, I'm trying to make a package with ETN to get Chase Brown.
100%. And if you look at ETN's upcoming schedule after Carolina and Cincinnati, which are juicy matchups, he's got Houston, good defense. San Fran, their defense isn't what it once was, but it's still a decently ran defense. Then they got Kansas City, Seattle, who you're very high on, the Rams, who I think have a really, really good defense. That's a 5 stretch of games where defenses you're not particularly happy to be playing. So, like you said, if ETN has a Mondo week 2, I'm dipping him 100%.
Yeah. Who you got out there at wide receiver?
My wide receiver is... I closed our docket. I should probably know this off the top of my head.
It's Jacoby Myers.
And then I went to the wrong docket. It is Jacoby Myers of the Las Vegas Raiders. Phenomenal podcasting. He had a huge target share week 1, 10 targets, which is insane. Out of a passing game, we didn't really expect to be passing that much. We kind of thought it was going to be Genty. It really wasn't Genty, but Jacoby Myers was out there for 94% of snaps. He saw 10 targets, brought in 8 for 97, and now they're going up against the Chargers, so it's going to be a shootout Monday night. I expect both teams to drop over 20 points. Brock Bowers is limited. He hasn't practiced.
That's the big key for Myers' upside.
100%. He's seen 10 targets with Brock Bowers out there for most of the game. God forbid if Brock Bowers happens to miss this game, expect Myers' targets to be like 15, 16 targets. Hopefully he brings in 8 to 12 of them, and he has a Mondo week 2. I think a touchdown's in play versus the Chargers. It's going to be a shootout per se. Vegas looked a lot better than I expected them to do week 1. I don't think they're going to have any chance of winning this game, but I think they're going to be relatively hanging in there because they got a lot of good talent there in Vegas.
My wide receiver play of the week is Devonta Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Kansas City. Super Bowl rematch versus Kansas City
You just
Chiefs.
knew that off the top of your head? That's crazy, man. Good job. I'm proud of you.
I have a doc in front of me with both of them. I probably should have helped you out a little earlier, but I watched you scramble.
You're good.
We brought it up early in the show. Dallas Goedert, he's got a knee issue. We don't know if he's going to be active against Kansas City. And if he's not out there, the biggest beneficiary of Dallas Goedert missing time has always been Devonta Smith. The Chiefs can stop the run. They bottled up the Chargers really good week 1. They held Amari and Hampton to like under 50 yards. Obviously, Saquon Barkley is a different monster, but if the Chiefs can, hold Barkley, like the Eagles are going to have to pass the ball to hang around, and I expect big weeks from Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, bounce back weeks for them, as they currently rank wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 on this team, with Jahan Dotson as their wide receiver 1 in fantasy. But Devonta Smith, Kansas City was getting ripped up on those short routes by Keenan Allen and Lad McConkey, and that's Devonta Smith's game. He's going to eat that underneath stuff, and I expect him to thrive versus Kansas City in what should be a shootout. I like A.J. Brown as well. Like I said, I think the Eagles passing in this week takes a step up from what it was week 1 because they didn't have to. This week, I think they are going to have to pass the ball, so I think we're boosting up Devonta Smith here, especially if Dallas Goedert's not out there, but he's banged up, and if he is out there, I imagine he's going to be a little limited. So I'm all in on Devonta Smith against Kansas City here, what should be a high-scoring shootout, potentially.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm so in on that game just in general. If I have anyone in that game, I just want to play them. I think that game's going to be amazing. I think the Chiefs are still holding that Super Bowl loss close, man, and it's going to be a brutal game. I'm hyped.
Yeah. All right, let's round it out. My tight end play of the week. We're getting dirty. Jonnu Smith of the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I've praised the Seahawks defense on the podcast. I think they are one of the 5 best defenses in the league. I think they're really good. They did a pretty good job against San Francisco last week. But first opening drive, George Kittle ripped them up. And then Tungus had the game-winning touchdown. So that's 2 touchdowns to the tight end position. Pittsburgh, we still don't know who that number 2 weapon is. Like Calvin Austin had a couple targets. Jonnu Smith had 6. They just weren't really efficient because he was only 5 for 15. He had the Wandale special, but he did get into the end zone. So Aaron Rodgers, 4 touchdowns. Like, this team is a little more willing to pass than we expected, at least week 1. Like, we expect Arthur Smith to be run, but they were slinging it with Rodgers and crew, and we know Arthur Smith, he loves Jonnu. They're long-lost brothers or something, last names, I don't know. But I like Jonnu Smith as a long shot. Say you have Dallas Goedert and you're unsure if he's going to play, or you lost George Kittle. Jonnu Smith is out there for you to get, and I think he's a good plug-and-play this week against the Seahawks, who struggled with the tight end position week 1.
Yeah, no, I like that one a lot. I'm going to go with a guy that I picked up in... Thank you. I got him in nearly every league. I put a waiver claim out for him. Went big for him in our home league because Jake Ferguson's my main tight end, and I want a guy that's going to eat up way more than he does. So I went with a guy that was out there for 99% of snaps. He was tight end 1 in most leagues. Juwan Johnson of the New Orleans Saints going up against San Francisco. It's not a great matchup, I get that. But he was second in the team in targets. He was behind Olave, who had 13 targets, by the way. So Olave, 8. But Juwan Johnson had 11 targets for 8 catches, almost 80 yards. That's just, I think his floor is so safe going forward in fantasy and PPR leagues. I expect him to have 3 to 4 catches every game because he's in the slot most of the time. And in this kind of system, the slot guy eats. Smith ate a ton in Philadelphia under Kellen Moore. It's very similar with what Juwan Johnson is running in New Orleans. He ran most of his routes out of the slot week 1. It's not going to change week 2. He is the second option, maybe even the first option behind Olave or ahead of Olave, depending on how you look at it. He had more catches than Olave. He had more yards than Olave, 2 less targets. So I think both guys are involved, but I think he's the safer option for Spencer Rattler. He's always there. He's the check down guy. He's going across the middle. He's used like a wide receiver in this offense, and that's what he needs to be used at. And by the way, he's got a beautiful going mustache. So any fans of a mustache, go look up Juwan Johnson's mustache. It is stellar right now. I love it.
He's out here looking like Akeem Olajuwon.
Yeah, dude, he looks like a guy from the 80s. It's amazing. I love everything about his look, his vibe right now.
I'm going to need him versus Sam Laporta, mustache off.
Oh, mustache off. I would love it.
Laporta's got a rockin' mustache right now, too.
Yeah, Laporta looks like every generic firefighter I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, dude, I've been praising Juwan Johnson for the last couple of days, and I'm very high on him. Me. It's just, you were right. It's written in the stone in this offense that he is the number 1 or 2 target.
Should have listened to myself and drafted him in my home league.
Yeah, I'm happy. I spent up. I had to put like 15, 16 bucks on him, something like that.
You stole him from me.
And it was well worth it. And I honestly think he's going to be in my tight end spot for most of the season. I'm not going to lie to you, just because of how safe his floor is. So,
hell yeah.
Lock in Juwan Johnson now
if
very
he's
early.
Healthy, lock him in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's the thing you got to worry about Johnson. He's going to miss some time. No. Hopefully.
Yeah, worry about that with every player on the New Orleans Saints. They're the worst version of the 49ers.
They're one and the same, brother. Alvin Kamara's out there sucking life force in New Orleans.
That guy's always hurt too. Brother. He just manages to play. There we go. Those are our W Energy plays of the week. One of us is going to eat that dub. I'm hoping it's me so I can even up this score, as I got that dreadful 0.04 points loss week 1 there to you.
I love the seat. I for sure locked in my loss.
You lost. I didn't even think it was going to be close. I didn't win, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm adding up, and I'm like, this is going to be close.
And didn't even think it would be close, dude. I wrote myself off after Mark Andrews had 1 point. I'm like, well, this is gone to shit. Fuck Mark Andrews.
All right. Now, let's get into week 2. First game on the docket. The Buffalo Bills travel to the New York Jets. They'll travel to New York to take on the Jets. The DraftKings line is set at Buffalo, 6.5 point road favorites, and over-under of 46.5. My start of the week's in this game on the Jets side in Justin Fields, and I brought up during that I'm kind of in on the Buffalo offense this week. Garrett Wilson, I think, is a great play. He was nearly my start of the week as well. I think Breece Hall is a good play. There could have been a case for him. And that's it. That's the Jets offense. You're not messing around with Josh Reynolds, Tyler Johnson, Mason Taylor. Who's missed some practice. So the Jets are making it easy for us. Breece Hall, Justin Fields, Garrett Wilson. I think they're all locks this week.
I totally agree. Breece Hall looked amazing week 1. I expect it to be very similar week 2. Garrett Wilson, Justin Fields, all overperformed in my eyes, and I don't think it's going to shift away, especially this week versus Buffalo, who was just content giving up Mondo yards to Baltimore. They really didn't care that they were giving up yards. They just tried to stop him when they got in the red zone. And you got Derrick Henry. You're not going to stop that guy. So, but yeah, dude, like you said, Fields, Hall, Wilson, lock them in. Not even second thought in my eyes.
Yeah, I think you're looking at top 12 performances from all three across the board potentially.
For sure. Really, my dumbass benched Garrett Wilson in so many leagues week 1, dude.
Too.
So I was.
I hear you. I was way out on the Jets, and now that I'm kind of in, I'm expecting them to be the New York Jets and just dud this game, and we're just like,
exactly.
We
get Justin Fields of old, baby.
The only real question with the Jets is long term is you still willing to carry Braylon Allen?
If you cut him this week, it's fine. Hopefully you didn't pick up a running back, because I don't think the running back market was anything of value in waivers this week. But there was a ton of receivers I loved.
There's really
huge one of them.
Was the only one out there, and
I'm good on Kenny Gainwell. But like I said, a lot of receivers, a lot of tight ends I like going forward. So if you cut him for one of those guys, I'd be fine with it. But this is the make or break week. If he's out here just another 40% and only sees 5-6 carries, you can just dip him. It's not worth the stash.
So rest of season, who you more into backup running back wise, Braylon Allen or Trey Benson? Trey Benson played under 30% of the snaps, but he did have some juice. He might have scored too. I can't remember week 1.
I don't think he scored. I think he had a big time run though, like 40, 50 yards. I would go Trey Benson over
Braylon
Allen. Yes.
Yep. Okay. Buffalo,
especially just on chance that James Conner could get hurt. I don't think Breece Hall's young.
James Conner is frail.
Yeah, he's a fragile man. So I think Benson could honestly have 2-3 starts this season.
Yeah, Benson just had juice, 8 for 69, and he had a 52-yard run.
Yeah, the run was great.
Yeah. Buffalo, Josh Allen, you're playing him. We're not even going to talk about him, the best quarterback in the league for fantasy. James Cook, I'm locking him in too. I hold him into the RB1 range. He was almost also in play for start of the week for me, but I thought that was just too easy. Like, I think I'm at that point where, like, James Cook, hey, you're really not benching him.
Yeah, he popped up on the injury list Wednesday with a hamstring injury, but he was full in practice today, so he's going to be out there regardless. I don't expect him to miss this week. But it is something that the hamstring could flare up very early in that game, because the kind of runner he is, he's quick, he's explosive, he's in and out of breaks. So just watch James Cook's hamstring. But Cook's a lock for me for sure.
Yeah, and really the questions with Buffalo is the wide receiving game. Keon Coleman blew up week 1. I'm playing him. I think Keon Coleman's a good play this week. I think he's high-end flex, low-end wide receiver 2. Khalil Shakir, I'm willing to keep him in full PPR, but like, he's not someone I'm excited to play. Like, I would have him as a real low fringe flex guy, but I'm fine if I'm putting him in. He's not somebody who scares me. The one that scares me is Dalton Kincaid. He had a good week 1, but he was only out there for like less than 50% of the snaps. And that's just only the thing Buffalo does. Yeah, like, he just happened to do work with those targets and scored.
Yeah.
So it worries me that, like, that is something that's not a focus for Buffalo. And it just happened that everything went his way. Like, I don't see him as a guy who's going to be a target hog and get 6-7 targets. I really think the target game is going through Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, James Cook, and then it would be Dalton Kincaid. But Kincaid and Palmer, like, Palmer's also eating into that. He had like 6 targets.
Yeah, no, I agree. Kincaid's not going to be consistent at all. Luckily, he got in the end zone. He had 4 targets, 4 catches, 40 yards, so 4-4-4 across the board. You had 4 targets in this huge shootout last week versus Baltimore. It's not going to be like that every week, so it's not going to be a shootout. It's not going to be passing heavy like that. it's not going to be consistent. If he's your only tight end for some reason, you can start him, but I would rather start Juwan Johnson. Go get him on waivers if you could have. Harold Fanning, I would rather start him over him for sure. But yeah, the receivers, though, I'm in on Keon Coleman 100%, and Shakir would be like a low-end flex. I agree. If you have to start Shakir in your flex PPR league, he's going to eat. He's going to have 5-6 catches, 50 yards. That's a solid baseline.
All right. Lastly, who wins, Buffalo or New York?
Buffalo.
Buffalo. I agree. Next up, a little less exciting. The New York Giants travel to Dallas to take on division rival Dallas Cowboys.
Do the Giants finally pull it off?
13 straight wins against the Giants for Dak Prescott. The Cowboys are favored at home, 4.5. Over under set at 44.5.
Did you say 13 straight wins for Dak Prescott?
Against the Cowboys, yeah.
Against the Giants? That's a crazy stat, dude.
He's 13
as a Giants fan, I didn't know that.
He has never lost to the Giants.
I knew we haven't beat Dallas in like a decade, but I did not realize that. That is insane, dude. Oh my God.
Dak
I
Prescott,
hope to God we just
13-0 versus the New York Giants. We'll start with the Cowboys because the Giants will be way easy to sort through. Dak Prescott is a good play. He played great against Philly, just didn't score. Yeah,
exactly. He's going to get touchdowns at some point this year. Obviously,
the Giants' defense is good though. Is elite.
Our front seven. Yeah. Our secondary is kind of rough.
Yeah. Well, I like Drew Phillips.
I like our guys. I like Tyler Nubin. I like Drew Phillips. I like a lot of our secondary. Yeah. It's just that our front seven is so much better than our back. It's not even comparable.
Yeah. So that might cause some problems if they can get some pressure on Dak, but I think Dak's a good play. I think he's a 10 to 15 range where he'll kind of float.
He's a streamable quarterback.
I would play Dak over Jordan Love, who I like this week, but I would rather play Dak Prescott. I would play Dak over Jared Goff. I would play him over Kyler Murray. I would play him over Bo Nix.
I would not play him over Murray. I think Murray's in line for a huge week this week.
Oh, maybe. They are playing Carolina. I might take that back.
Yeah. And he rushed a lot week one. Like he rushed a lot week one, and he came out and he's like, I got to keep running.
I'll pull back on that. For some reason, I thought they were playing San Francisco. No. I would play Kyler over Dak, but Dak, I would probably have him 10th if I threw out a number.
For sure.
I would play him over Drake May.
Yeah. What about JJ?
I would play him over JJ.
Oh, okay.
JJ's like it was great, but it was really just a quarter and a half.
It was. For sure. And it was also a lot of rushing upside. If he doesn't have a rushing touchdown, that's a lot of points lost. That rushing touchdown really helped out a lot.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing CeeDee Lamb. I'm not overly concerned about the drops. I'm playing George Pickens. Jake Ferguson. I'd like to move on and find something else, but
I agree. I have Ferguson.
If I had him, I wouldn't be like pressing to get rid of him unless Juwan Johnson was out there. Then I'll put in Juwan Johnson.
I agree. I would obviously put Johnson in over Ferguson. I've done it in almost every league I have because I have Ferguson in a bunch of leagues as well. But if you have to start Ferguson, you could still do that. He had a bunch of targets. Yeah. The touchdown he could have caught, but he got destroyed on that ball. So
it's the story of his life. The touchdown he should have caught, and he doesn't.
It is, and I get that, but he does come up with some of them, and he's playing the Giants defense here, and our linebacker is out for most of the season.
Micah McFadden, yeah,
McFadden. He got hurt. He got carted off. So I expect the targets to still be there for Ferguson. So he's still a relevant fantasy tight end. He's not a lock number one starting tight end anymore.
Yeah. He's like a fringe tight end one. And then Javonte Williams, you can play him.
I agree. I
wouldn't get too caught up. Like, I wouldn't be forcing him into my lineups. I'm not going to let Javonte scoring 2 touchdowns week 1 rope me into putting this guy in as one of my starting running backs. Like, I still rather play Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard looked great against Denver, but he just didn't score. He had the fumble, and Tennessee's offense was just inept versus a great Denver defense.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas, like, if you're just looking at it from a points basis, Javonte was way more efficient in the points category than Tony Pollard was, but Tony Pollard's still the much better running back. I'd rather go with him. I would kind of put him in like a low end RB2 range. So like I think I would play him over Jalen Warren. I think that's kind of the line though.
What
Those
about
two
Pacheco?
guys. Yeah. I'm not playing Pacheco until I actually
Versus
see
Philly?
him do
Yeah.
something.
I agree.
I don't care. I mean, sure, Pacheco could do what Javonte did and score 2 touchdowns versus the Eagles, but guess what? Jalen
Carter's going to be out there. Exactly.
Yeah. No, I would easily play Javonte over Pacheco.
Yeah, if Carter was out there week 1, there's a good chance one of Javonte's touchdowns was not up the middle. It just wouldn't have happened with Carter out there. It was a completely different game plan. Most of Javonte Williams' points were off of touchdowns. He had the 2 touchdowns, which was 12 points out of like his 20-some points. I think he had like 21 points, so more than half of his points were touchdown dependent.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to have 2 rushing touchdowns on a really good front 7 in New York. So, like you said, if you have to put him in your flex, he's fine to go. You can actually put him in there with more confidence than ever before the last couple of years, definitely. Yeah. Probably since his rookie year, to be honest. This is the most reliable Javante's
It's really
been.
Also keeping an eye on Jadon Blue. If Jadon Blue's health, if he's not a healthy scratch and he's out there, it might take some work because, like, I mean, obvious, like, Jadon Blue should be out there doing the Miles Sanders role. Like, there's zero reason Miles Sanders is still involved. He fumbled, but we'll see if he's still involved. But I don't think Miles Sanders is going to take any work from Javonte, whereas I think Jadon Blue could take some of the passing work away. But, yeah. And then, that's it. That's it for Dallas. New York, running backs. Tyrone Tracy. He was the workhorse. 75% of the snap there for the Giants. So this is his backfield. I still think it will be his backfield this week.
I agree.
I would hold him in the same boat as Javonte Williams. Javonte Williams probably has more touchdown upside, so I probably would lean him over Tyrone Tracy, but they're close.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would start Tracy over Pacheco if we want to use him again as the example. But yeah, I'd have him around Javonte. He had 10 carries, which was the predominant, like the majority of our rushing attempts. Scadaboo had like 3 attempts for, I think, -2, something like that. A really bad stat line across the board. This is Tracy's backfield going forward until Scadaboo can get more going, and I think that's going to be 5-6 weeks out before he even gets way more involved. So, yeah, Tracy's a really good go. He's going to be the volume guy. I just don't know how good it's going to be, but if you have to play him, you can play him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of playable running backs, so like you might just have to be desperate to play.
Exactly. I have him in one of our dynasty leagues. He's my RB2, and I have to play him. It is what it is, and I'm not hurting about it. I'm fine with him in there, so I don't feel bad having him in there, so it's all right.
Malik Neighbors, questionable, didn't practice Wednesday. I don't know if he practiced today.
That's going to be all season,
all year. Yep, but he's going to be out there. You're obviously going to play him.
He was full in practice today.
Okay, yeah. You're obviously going to play him, though. Even with the injury, it's just going to be a little fearful with Russell Wilson back there, slinging him the ball. Wandale's a fine floor play for PPR, but, like, again, he's not somebody you're pushing into your lineup. It's really just Neighbors.
If you only have one flex spot, I wouldn't look Wandale's way. But if you have like 2-3 flex spots, you're in a deeper league, way more starters. Wandale's a guy. He had like 8-9 targets. He ate a bunch in that offense. Russell Wilson wants to use him even more so downfield than he ever was used before. So he had a nice little stat line. Yeah, for sure.
He's not going to get you juiced up and get you really excited, but you'll put him in and he's going to get what his projection is, and you're going to be fine with that.
Yep. Yeah, he's good for 5-6 catches. He's like Khalil Shakir.
So now Andrew Thomas, the biggest question before we move on. Andrew Thomas, when he gets back,
that's when Jackson Dart comes in. He's not.
That's what I was going to ask. Does Jackson Dart come in when Andrew Thomas is cleared to play football?
I don't know if it's going to be the same week, but it's going to be either the first week he's back or the second. I actually think that's why ownership told Brian Dable that he can't put Jackson Dart in.
That's fair.
It's not a secure offensive line yet until Thomas is back there. He's the key to everything. He's one of the best left tackles in football. And once Thomas gets back onto the field, expect Jackson Dart to follow very soon after.
Yep. And then that's what I also think Cam Scadaboo starts getting involved a little more once we get Jackson Dart moving as well. But Dallas wins this game. Dak Prescott 14-0 versus the Giants.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. I got Dallas.
The Cleveland Browns travel to Baltimore to take on the Ravens division matchup. The Ravens are 11.5 point favorite. 11.5 point favorites.
God.
An over under of 45.5. Vegas does not care that the Browns only lost to the Bengals by 1 point and honestly should have beat the Bengals week 1, and they didn't care that Baltimore blew the game and lost 41-40 to Buffalo. Huge favorites here in Baltimore, and honestly, I get it. You're going to play your Ravens. You're going to play, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry. They're locks in your lineup, and Zay Flowers, the lock of it as well. He was wide receiver 1 this week, and that's it. I'm not playing Mark Andrews. I will.
Yep.
I've probably moved on from Mark Andrews if I had him, and if he's on my bench, that's where I want him to stay until I actually see him involved in this offense. But Baltimore's really easy. I'm not taking the shot on Rashad Bateman either. You probably can move on from him as well. But Baltimore makes it really easy for us.
I would stick Bateman out a couple more weeks. He was still out there for 70-some% of snaps. I get he only seen 4 targets, but he's going to have games like that. It's going to happen the way he plays. I still think Bateman's a really good, like a Wandale kind of guy. If you're doing 2-3 deep leagues, he's a guy to have on your team. He's really good in best ball, too.
I did mistake. I did say that Dak is undefeated versus the Cowboys or versus the Giants. He's not. He's 13-2. He lost his first 2 games versus the Giants and hasn't lost since.
Get wrecked, Dak. Get wrecked. That's all right. He'll be 14-2 come Sunday.
Yeah, the Giants haven't beat Dak Prescott since September 11th, 2016.
Hey, never.
December 11th. December 11th, 2016.
Never mind. There goes the joke. Okay.
Yeah. But so you'd be willing to play Bateman in a deeper flex league? Because I wouldn't.
Like a 2 to 3, the same leagues I'm willing to start Wandale in, I would start Bateman.
Okay. Maybe because I have Bateman and it's just not fun.
It's not
but I'd rather not play him. Yeah.
Like, I think come the end of the season, I think Wandale and Bateman are going to be pretty close in points, but it's not going to be, the trip to those points is not going to be anywhere similar. Wandale's is going to be so steady, and then Bateman's is going to be so up and down. It's going to be a rough patch for Bateman for sure.
Like, I'll give you a player similar to Bateman. Would you rather play Quentin Johnston?
Oh, 100%. Give me Quentin Johnson.
Okay.
I like Quentin Johnson going forward in that offense. I think that's a phenomenal setup.
Agree. Quentin Johnston in the last, since entering the league, has more full point PPR games of over 22 than any other wide receiver in football.
I think he's like 5th or 6th in touchdowns since he's entered the league or something like that. It's something crazy like that.
It's a strange thing.
It's a weird world we're living in. So, it's fine.
Cleveland, though, does have some interesting plays.
A lot, yeah.
Quinshon Judkins was practicing today.
Yes.
I don't know how effective he's going to be if he plays, but it still doesn't hurt Dylan Sampson to me. I think Dylan Sampson is a fine flex play. He could even be a low-end RB2. Like, I would put him in the same boat as Javonte, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Warren. I would play him over Pacheco.
Yeah.
If that's the line today, the Pacheco line, I would start Dylan Sampson. I'm dropping Jerome Ford. He's useless to me, especially with Judkins coming back. I don't think Ford has any sort of fantasy relevance. He might be real-life relevant, but he's not doing anything for your fantasy team.
Yep, I agree.
The question in Baltimore is sorting out this wide receiver and tight end room. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman, David Njoku, Harold Fannin Jr.
Yeah.
All explosive players who can produce for fantasy. Week 1, it leaned more towards Tillman and Fannin over the more established Njoku and Jeudy. I'm not shying away from David Njoku. I'm not worried about Harold Fannin being involved hurting him because they're two different kinds of players where Njoku can kind of play on the line of scrimmage and Fannin can line up in the slot. Like, I consider Harold Fannin this team's slot receiver.
Yeah, they use him very similar
Judy
to
is
the way
actually the one
Vegas.
I'm worried about the most. And I've been in on Jerry Judy. But Harold Fannin and Cedric Tillman, they seem to be the guys week one. This could be a Judy Njoku week. We don't know, but I think that's going to be the ride you're playing with Cleveland all year, is trying to, it's going to sort of be like Green Bay. You're trying to find out who's getting the targets and the touchdowns from a room of just decent players.
Yeah, I agree to that it's like Green Bay where it's crowded. It's almost the opposite situation. I'm willing to start all four of these guys in Cleveland.
Okay.
Being Judy, Tillman, Njoku,
I would rather
and Fannin.
start all of Cleveland's guys than all of Green Bay's guys because Cleveland's going to be down every week and have to pass the ball.
Yeah, they're not relying on Josh Jacobs to run the ball, so they got Dylan Sampson as the only running back that's worth a damn right now. Judkins will obviously be way more involved come the later season. But he's not a good running back per se. He's a really good receiving back. He had 12 carries for 29 yards. That's horrendous. But he has very explosive hands. He's really quick out of the backfield. So Sampson in PPR leagues is mondo to start that guy easily. But Jerry Judy could go off any week. Cedric Tillman could go off any week. We've seen Harold Fannin have not. He was the most targeted guy on this offense week one. And then David Njoku's still David Njoku, so I'm still happy with him. I'm cool if you have, hopefully you don't have a combination of these guys, like you have multiples. But if you have one of them, just start them. Like, I'm cool starting all four of these guys.
I have Cedric Tillman in a ton of leagues, and it kind of shied me away from going after Harold Fannin because I didn't want to lock myself into having to start two Cleveland Browns.
Yeah. I have Njoku in a bunch of leagues, so I have Njoku and Tillman in a lot of leagues together, so I'm like, I can't get Fannin. I can't triple up on Browns players.
Who do you like more this week, Judy or Tillman?
Tillman.
I agree.
I liked Tillman a lot preseason. I think I'm going to like Tillman going forward. I'm not going to lie to you until I see otherwise.
Njoku or Fannin?
Kills me. I'm going to go Njoku this week, but I honestly think it's going to be Fannin.
I'm also going in Njoku. Fannin's thing, I need to see it again. I think it could be an Isaiah Likely situation where it was just
I don't think so.
Kind of. He's super talented. Like I said, he's more of a slot gadget receiver type play than a tight end. So I think he'll be more involved than Likely. But it wouldn't surprise me if he comes out and only has 3 targets this week, and we see all the focus on Njoku and the receiving room.
I think that can honestly happen. Njoku's seen 6 targets and Fannin's seen 9 targets. I think that could swap. I think that could change every given week. I think Njoku could have 9 targets this week where Fannin has 5 or 6. I don't think it's going to be less than 5 or 6. So I think Fannin's going to be used a ton. He also had 2 carries. Well, he had a carry. So he's used more as a gadgety guy. He's not used as a tight end per se. So I think he's going to be very valuable. I love Fannin going forward.
Rest of season, how would you rank those 4 guys?
Tillman at the top. Njoku 2, Fannin 3, Jerry, Judy 4.
Okay. I'm in Njoku, Tillman, Judy, Fannin.
Okay.
I
like Jerry Judy. I'm not. What'd you say? I'm not crazy about Judy.
Yeah. Baltimore wins this game though.
Oh yeah.
Spent a lot of time in Cleveland.
Yeah. Well, that's because they have all these guys that are all just in the same boat. But it's Baltimore that's gonna run away with this in a landslide for sure.
Are you worried about Zay Flowers? Cleveland did a great job locking down the Bengals crew.
I mean, I think you just have to have a general worry with Zay Flowers. Just always keep it in mind, hey, it's Zay Flowers. He might not always be involved. They could easily go up early in this game, and then they're just leaning on Derrick Henry and running the rock for 2 quarters. So,
speaking of Derrick Henry, did you hear the Brown safety Grant Delpit say that Derrick Henry's not hard to tackle?
Dumbest thing a human being could possibly say.
Yeah. Ravens by 1 million on Sunday. The Los Angeles Rams travel to Tennessee to take on the Tennessee Titans. The Rams are only 5.5 point favorites on the road, over under a 41.5 gross. Rams defense looked great against Houston. They shut them down.
Yeah.
I also think part of that was just Houston's offense isn't that great. I think not having an established running game, Nick Chubb's not what Joe Mixon is.
No,
Helped
not
that,
even
but
close.
Tennessee offense was a mess. Calvin Ridley took a lot of heat and blame for the game. He dropped some passes, and he says, "It was on me. I fucked up. I looked like a piece of shit out there." Like his words.
You know who didn't give him heat though? Cam Ward, because that guy's a goddamn leader.
Yeah. Tony Pollard had juice. He looked great, just statistic-wise, it just didn't show up for fantasy. But you could play Pollard. Chubb had 61 yards on the ground against the Rams. I think Tony Pollard's a fine RB2 this week.
I honestly think Tony
Ridley,
Pollard's the only guy I'm playing in this game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, Calvin Ridley, different question. Like, I have him in a few leagues. I actually moved him out of my lineup for like Tillman. I would put Tillman in over Calvin Ridley.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think I'd Roma Dunze in the other league. I put him in as well over Ridley.
Yeah, I just want to. That one's way closer. I just want to see it more consistently with Cam Ward and Ridley. Like, don't cut Ridley, and obviously go pick up Eric Ayamater. He's seen a bunch of first look targets, a lot of targets in general in this offense.
And Callahan came out and said, like, there was a play where Ayamater came down with the ball and he didn't challenge it, and he's just like, I should have challenged it. I got to get this guy more involved. So, like, coming from the coaches, he wants to use this guy too. And Ayamater was a guy we weren't overly in on compared to consensus in the draft process, but he went where we thought he would go round wise. Yeah. And, like, the talent's there. Like, contested catch-wise, he can do it. It's just a matter of putting it together, and we'll see. And the coaches are confident in him. So I think he is a guy you should be stashing on your bench as well. I agree with that.
I agree. I think he's going to have a very similar early career to Quentin Johnson, where it's not going to look pretty all the time, but sometimes he's going to have big explosive plays because he's a good 50-50 ball kind of guy. And those catches come and go. Some seasons you catch 60, 70% of your 50-50 balls. Some seasons you catch 35, 40%, and you just look like shit. It's not going to be a pretty career for Ayamater, but he's going to be some type of guy, and I kind of dig that. But right now, I'm not starting him or Ridley. Tony Pollard's really the only guy I'm playing from Tennessee.
Yep. Well, what about your dude, Chig Okonkwo?
Man.
Tight ends are banged up. They're dropping like flies. Chig's healthy.
He is. He only saw 4 targets, though, but he was out there for 88% of snaps, so he's going to be on the field. It's just that, is he going to be able to make anything with the targets he gets with this offense? It's not crazy explosive, and they're playing the Rams, who have a really, really good defense, just like Denver does. So this week I'm kind of out on Chig. There's a lot of other tight ends like Juwan Jennings, Harold Fannin,
Brenton Strange.
Other guys.
I would take Brenton Strange.
Brenton Strange I'm very high on this week. I think he's in line for a big week for sure.
Yeah, and the Rams, also super easy. Puka Nacua, lock him in. He was
Rams
incredible.
Are straight through. Yeah.
Tyron Williams, he was great. And then Devontae Adams had a down game, but you're not going to pull him from your lineup. He's still Devontae Adams, and against Tennessee, this could be a big Devontae Adams game. So I kind of think that's how the Rams are going to go this year. I think there's going to be games where Puka kind of takes a backseat to Devontae, and vice versa. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Devontae comes out, has 12 targets, and is 8 for 130 and a touchdown, and Puka's like, 6 for 50. But I'm not shying away from Devontae after one bad game with the Rams.
Yeah, no, and I wouldn't even say it was a bad game. Like, he had 8 targets. He only brought in 4. He had 4 for 51, which isn't terrible. Yeah, he was still out there for 90% of snaps. Yeah. No, not at all. Like, full point PPRs, he had 9 points, which isn't going to kill you, but he didn't A.J. Brown you this week, so it is what it is. But I like the matchup a lot this week versus Tennessee. I think Adams is in line for Mondo. Big bounce back week.
Yeah. If I was in a survivor pool, the Rams might be my pick.
Survivor pool, I did Baltimore this week.
Yeah. I also picked Baltimore. I didn't want to go against Tennessee twice in a week, or 2 times in a row.
So hey, man, I wouldn't blame you.
Rams win this game, though, easily, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Though Tennessee did hang. I'll give them that. They did
Cam Ward's getting a bunch of shit. I don't think he looked nearly as bad as people are saying he looked. It was his first start, and he did Cam Ward things. His arm shined. Yeah. He played hero ball. He looked at Cam Ward college-wise. As long as he's able to tone back his hero ball, start making a little bit better throws, I'm still hella in on Cam Ward. I think he's going to be a great quarterback.
Yeah, and he had the unfortunate situation of having to play the Denver Broncos his first career start, and now he's going to follow up with the LA Rams.
Exactly, and they knew what they were doing. They played zone like 90% of the time because they were like, hey, if you're going to pass on us, find the holes. And it's going to be hella hard to find any bit of holes on arguably the best zone defense in football in your first NFL start. Cam Ward, I still love that kid.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him, but Rams win this game. Tennessee's going to be a little feisty this year.
I agree. They're scrappy and they play hard. They're a decently coached team. Cam Ward's a phenomenal leader. And at the end of the day, they got talent on that offense. They got talent on both sides of the ball, to be honest.
Yeah. Next up, the Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. Both teams 1-0. Bengals 3-point home favorites. Nice over-under of 48.5. Cincinnati, they're easy. We love it for fantasy. Joe Burrow, locked in. Don't let week one scare you away from Joe Burrow, because Joe Burrow's never good week one. Chase Brown, my start of the week, lock him in. He was so involved on that first drive, and then the offense kind of sputtered. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, keep him in your lineup. I'm not messing around with the Bengals tight ends. I know Noah Fant was involved, but I think that was just more of a Cleveland Browns defense thing that saw the tight ends involved. This isn't a team that necessarily uses their tight ends, and also Zach Taylor has a slew of them that he's constantly rotating in. So I love Mike Gesicki, but I'm not putting him in. Noah Fant was on the field more than him. I'm not playing him either. Bengals straight across the board. Joe, Jamar, T, Chase Brown.
Yeah, you're good Bengals. You're playing them. Noah Fant was actually on the field 20% more than Gesicki. Font was out there for 50% of snaps. Gesicki was 30% of snaps.
Gesicki was banged up coming into the game. He missed.
Yeah, he wasn't 100%. So
yeah,
but yeah, there's way too many tight end mouths to feed in that locker room for a team that doesn't even utilize the tight end per se. Expect huge big bounce backs weeks from almost every Bengal here. Even Chase Brown, he looked great on the first drive, but after that, it was absolutely nothing for the whole team. It wasn't even just him; it was the whole team. It was just dog shit after that drive. Burrow's in line for a big game. Brown, Chase, Higgins, lock them all in. Don't even second guess it. Yeah. If you have Burrow, you shouldn't even have a backup quarterback. You shouldn't even have an option to bench Joe Burrow. There's no reason to have one.
Yep. Unless you're in a 3 QB league, then you should be carrying 3 quarterbacks. And even then,
obviously.
Your third quarterback, you're not benching Joe Burrow for Daniel Jones.
Oh, the balls, the cojones on someone to do that week one would have been insane.
I'm just not feeling it.
The Browns got a really good defense. I think Danny Jones is in line to rip up the Dolphins week one, possibly score on every single drive they have the ball. Don't even punt it. Danny Jones, locked in starter.
Yeah. The Jaguars, Travis Etienne, your start of the week. He would have been mine.
Oh, yeah.
The situation this week has played out really well for him with Tank Bigsby getting traded.
So nice.
They're obviously not going to push a workload split-wise with Tootin or LaQuint Allen here behind Travis Etienne. So this is his backfield until one of those guys is acclimated to take over more of a workload. And we've seen Liam Cohen's running backs produce, and week one was no exception for Etienne. Brian Thomas Jr., he only had 1 catch week one. He had a rushing touchdown.
Targets, though.
Hit 7 targets, yeah. He's still the dude here, and that was second on the team. Travis Hunter had more targets, but Liam Cohen came out today or yesterday and said Travis Hunter's going to play more defensive snaps this week than he had played week one. So my theory is
because they're going up against Jamar Chase and fucking T. Higgins, brother.
I think we're going to have games like if it's a high-powered offense and it's an offense that has a ton of weapons, we might see Travis more on the defensive side to try to lock one of these guys down. I still think you could play him in the flex. Like I'm not too scared to move him out, but I would temper the expectation. He was still involved. He had 6 catches. He just didn't do a ton. He missed a big play by a little bit. It's really Trevor Lawrence putting it together to get these guys the ball on a consistent basis. He's a stream play this week with the Bengals defense being what it is, but I'm not worried about playing the guys around him, though. I think you could lock in Etienne, BTJ, Travis Hunter's a fine flex play, and I think Brenton Strange is a good stream option. The Bengals are abysmal versus tight ends, and that proved week one. Harold Fannin and David Njoku, like Njoku's wasn't fantasy
Ripped
relevant,
them
but he
up.
still had a nice game. And Harold Fannin for fantasy was great. So I think Brenton Strange is a good stream. If you have Goddard or Kittle or Brock Bowers, like one of these tight ends who's out or banged up, I think Brenton Strange is an easy pickup. He is most definitely probably out there on your waiver wire.
Unless you're in a league with me, I got him honestly in a good amount of leagues as well. I'm just rostering a bunch of tight ends this year because we just talked about these high ups and athletic tight ends. And Strange was one of them. He was out there for almost 80% of snaps. He only seen 4 targets, but he brought all 4 in. He almost had 60 yards. That's a great catch per yards per catch, yards per route. It's all phenomenal for Strange going forward this season. Versus a team that could not stop a tight end last week. If you would combine Njoku and Harold Fanning's stat line for Brandon Strange, he's easily tight end 1 on the week if he's able to pull that off. I'm very in on Strange this week. I'm starting him in a lot of leagues as well, especially deep leagues. I'm in a dynasty league where I have this guy in a flex, so I'm just riding dirty with Brandon Strange, brother.
Who comes out on top here? Jags, Bengals.
Cincinnati. I still don't believe in Jacksonville that much, and Cincinnati's amazingly talented offensively.
What a world we're going to live in where the Bengals are 2-0 in September.
Yeah. We've never seen it before under this coaching regime. That's for damn sure.
All right, I agree. Bengals go out on top here. The Seattle Seahawks travel to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Another week, another Steelers revenge game. This time it's for DK Metcalf. Steelers are 3-point home favorites, an over-under of 39.5.
That is disgusting.
Yeah, and the Steelers hit the over week 1. I love the Seahawks defense. I think, like I said, I think they're a top 5 unit. I think they are going to give Rodgers fits. I would temper your expectations. He's not going to throw 4 touchdowns again. That's not going to be an every week thing for Aaron Rodgers.
He looked good, but did he look great? I don't think so. He looked good for a quarterback his age, but
I think playing the Jets really fueled him to play as well as he did.
Absolute best, exactly.
Whereas now maybe DK Metcalf's revenge kind of fuels him to be better this week, but I think the Seattle defense is going to give him problems. But I'm going to play DK Metcalf. I'm obviously not going to push him out of my lineups. He had a fine game week 1. It was just okay, it was less than what you want from DK Metcalf, but I still think he's a good play. I think Jalen Warren is a fine, low end RB2. I hold him in the same bucket as Javonte, Tyrone Tracy, those guys. Other than that, I'm not in on Calvin Austin just yet. And Jonnu Smith, my start of the week, I think he is a streamable tight end considering all the tight ends being hurt. He saw a ton of targets. He just didn't do anything efficient with them, but he did get to the end zone.
Yeah, luckily he got in the end zone, which saved his week, and he still finished top 12 tight end because of it. But yeah, you pretty much summed it up perfectly. Rodgers, I'm not looking to start at all in any leagues. Warren's a fine RB2 flex play. No other running back on that team I'm looking their way. And yeah, DK Metcalf and Jonnu are the only other guys I'm really looking at. Calvin Austin, I'm rostering.
You willing to roster Kenneth Gainwell?
No, not yet. But I am willing to roster Calvin Austin. Calvin Austin should probably be on teams because he's the number 2 receiver in this offense. He's seen a lot of targets. He had a nice touchdown catch. So I think he's going to be better than people thought.
Yeah. If Gainwell outsnaps Warren again this week, but how's that going to make you feel?
Fine, because he outsnapped him last week and he still had less than 8 points. So I'm not too concerned where Jalen Warren had almost 14 points in a full PPR league. He only had 2 catches, but still give me Warren any day of the week over Kenny G.
If Gainwell does lead the team at the running back position in snap
then you
percentage,
roster him.
Yes, pick him up, but I think that says more about Caleb Johnson than anything else. Like, it might almost be time to move on from him.
Yeah, I would give it this week and next to watch, but Caleb Johnson's not going to be relevant. It's going to be like the last couple weeks of the fantasy season. If anything, it's like week 10, 11, he starts coming in. At that point, I'm not confident to even play him in the late playoff push. Like, if I'm a team competing, I'm not going to comfortably put in Caleb Johnson on a team that may not be even playing for a playoff spot, and they're just kind of seeing what they have with him at this point. So, yeah, you can probably move on from Caleb Johnson coming next week.
Yeah. As a Caleb Johnson truther, I would probably feel obligated to pick him up if he was there.
If someone cut Caleb Johnson next week, I would honestly probably pick him up for a week. I would. Just because I love Caleb Johnson. I think his talent's there. I still think going forward, I think Dynasty, he's got a ton of value. I'm still not out.
Seattle, Jackson Smith and Jigba. Locked in.
Okay, and let's next game.
Superstar. Cooper Kupp actually ran more routes than JSN did week 1, and he looked fine, but didn't do anything for fantasy, and I'm still not willing to play him. I would roster him still. I'm not saying drop him, but he's not somebody I'm putting in my lineup. Really sorting out Seattle is Ken Walker and Zach Charbonnet. Now, the Jets, Breece Hall looked great against the Steelers. He was 19 for 107. He had 2 grabs as well. So, if Zach Charbonnet ends up playing more of a role than Walker does in the second straight game, I would be setting off the panic alarm if I was a Ken Walker owner. And I am. And I'm on the verge of a full-on breakdown. Like, I'm sending everyone in our home league trades for running backs. Like, I'll take anybody. Mm-hmm. Like, I might go out and try to get Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, the Pacheco line. Pacheco or Ken Walker? Who you got?
Ken Walker. This week. But
maybe.
It's close. I would probably start Javonte over Ken Walker.
You starting Ken Walker or Charbonnet? Which one are you starting out of the two of them? I'm starting Charbonnet.
Walker's more involved in the passing game, so I would lean him in hopes that like there's more points scored in this game than expected, but this feels like a Zach Charbonnet game, just because it's going to be low scoring, I think, and just a defensive slugfest between both teams, whereas I think that favors Charbonnet compared to Walker. So this week, I would lean Zach Charbonnet.
I would agree to that, but what about the thought of Ken Walker's more like Breece Hall than Zach Charbonnet is? He's more twitchy, he's more explosive, he's more catcher line, where Breece Hall just ripped up this defense.
Yeah, but when was the last time Ken Walker did that? Like, he hasn't got over 4 a carry in since
hey man, you're talking
year.
You're talking to a guy that does not defend Ken Walker ever.
He's really talented, but I don't know if he's lost his confidence or what's going on. Like, I think he needs a big play. Like, I think he needs a 30-yard run, and just I think that gets him going. But that's not happening. That hasn't happened in 2 years. So it does work. This week I would lean Charbonnet, but I'm playing Ken Walker. There's not a lot of playable running backs, so
you kind of have to. If you drafted this guy in the 4th round, maybe you got lucky he was in the 5th, but you drafted this guy to start him as an RB2 most likely. So even kicking him to your flex spot, you still kind of have to play Ken Walker at the end of the day.
Yeah. Who wins here, Seattle or Pittsburgh?
Give me Pittsburgh.
All right, I'm going Seattle. We need to talk about Sam Darnold. You're obviously not starting him.
You are not starting Sam Darnold. Do not even look that guy's way.
Yeah. He's even a stretch play in a 2-quarterback league.
I would try to find my way out of Sam Darnold, in the 2 QB league for sure.
All right, Chicago. The Bears travel to Detroit to take on division rival, the Detroit Lions. Ben Johnson versus Dan Campbell. Both teams 0-1. The Lions are 6-point home favorites and over under a 46.5. Detroit, again, they have a ton of weapons. You're not going to bench Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're not going to bench Jahmyr Gibbs. You're probably not going to bench Sam Laporta because of where he's drafted, and you're probably not carrying a second tight end of value. It's really David Montgomery, Jameson Williams. Montgomery.
I'm starting both. Both of them.
I agree. The Bears, the Vikings' path to success was eating up, and Jordan Mason is more David Montgomery than Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah. So I think Montgomery's a sneaky play this week. You're probably not going to want to play him because he was so inefficient last week. But
the whole Lions were inefficient. It wasn't just Montgomery though. It was the whole team.
Yeah. So, and the Lions have come up. They've owned it hey, we need to change things. So I'm in. I think the Lions are due for a bounce back week. I'm playing all of them. JMO, I think, is a good play this week. Obviously, Amon-Ra, Sam Laporta,
I'm
Jahmyr
not
Gibbs.
playing
And,
Goff.
yeah. We'll probably never play Jared Goff unless it's a bye week situation. And, it's week 5, and I have Jordan Love, and Jared Goff's my backup quarterback, and Jared Goff's playing the Bengals.
Yeah. I'm out on Goff pretty much going forward for sure. I don't think this offense is going to consistently be good enough for him to be a starting quarterback in fantasy. But Gibbs, Montgomery, JMO, Amon-Ra, Laporta, I'm starting all of those guys.
Isaac Tesla, is he roster radar right now?
I would say no, even though he had an amazing touchdown. The touchdown was absolutely gorgeous.
It was garbage time.
That's the thing. He didn't get on the field until the Lions were absolutely getting blown out of the water. Mm-hmm. But I honestly think going like next season, I think there's a chance this team has all 3 receivers out there going forward, and they're just a super high-powered passing offense.
Yeah, I think as the season goes on, he's going to be more involved, but I don't think he's stashed just yet. But
I agree. Just keep an eye on him, though.
Week 5 or 6, then maybe I'm jumping to put him on my roster.
Yeah, if he's out here doing like Nick Westbrook-Akine things last year, where he's having a ton of touchdowns, like 2-3 catches, if that a game, but he's bringing in touchdown catches. Come the later end of the season, he's going to start getting more work and more involved, where he can get 3, 4, 5 catches a game, 50, 60 yards and a touchdown. He could be the touchdown guy in this offense if it's not JMO.
Yeah,
but I'm willing to guarantee a David Montgomery touchdown this week.
Oh, we're locking in it.
Yeah,
Nick's first ever touchdown guarantee. I'm gonna start logging these. I'm gonna make you do one every week.
You're gonna start logging them. All right, the first ever official. It's David Montgomery for sure.
David Montgomery.
I really like Montgomery this week a lot. I think he's gonna score.
Yeah, I think he's a sneaky good play. The Bears, DeAndre Swift, you could play him. He got 100% of the carries. Monunga was out there for a little bit, but he didn't take any work away. So play DeAndre Swift, and then it's just sorting out this Bears pass catching room. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, they all saw targets, and they were all just okay.
Rome was the top targeted guy, right?
What's that?
Rome was top target.
Yeah,
9.
Rome was the top target. And
Moore had 5.
Yeah, I think DJ Moore had better numbers, though.
Luther Burden had 1 target for 1 catch and -3 yards. Great stat line in his first game for Luther Burden.
He's another guy.
Odunze had a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, Rome did have a touchdown.
Yeah, Rome went off for 6 for...
Yeah,
Rome only had 37 yards, which is crazy. That's worse than a Wandale game, 6 for 37, but he got in the end zone, which was nice. They really saved Rome's game. I like Rome a lot going forward, though.
Yeah. I think there's going to be situations like DJ Moore was 3 for 68, so he was getting big plays. 23 yards catch.
He also got a couple carries. You brought up that he's the backup running back. He is the backup running back.
Yeah, he had 3 carries.
Yeah.
So, I'm not going to move on yet from them. I'm going to keep them in my lineup. Those 2 guys.
I'm in on Rome.
Yeah.
I would start Rome this week. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I would honestly start Moore too.
Yeah, I'm starting Rome and DJ Moore this week. The tight end situation. I will keep Colston Loveland on my bench, but I'm not ready to play him. And then Luther Burden is in the same boat as Tesla for me. I will keep an eye on him and try to pick him up a week or 2 before the breakout. But deep leagues, I would stash him. But if you're in just a simple 15-man roster in a 12-team league, I don't think you should be rostering Luther Burden.
Yeah, no, I totally agree to that. And Cole Kmet was on the field for 90% of snaps. Loveland was only 50, but it's Loveland's first game, so expect more snaps going forward. But if I'm not cutting Loveland, but if you could cut Loveland and get Juwan Johnson or Harold Fannin, it might be worth it, honestly, going forward.
Mm-hmm. Caleb Williams, streamable this week?
No.
No. Him or Goff?
Goff.
I agree.
I think I'm almost 100% out on Caleb Williams.
Whoa. I think Caleb Williams and Trevor Lawrence are going to kind of go in the same boat where, like, they're really good quarterbacks, and Kyler, but they're never going to be really great quarterbacks. And I think there's going to be weeks where Caleb has great fantasy value and his options do as well. But there's going to be other weeks where it's just a dud.
His arm talent is going to get him to, like, good fantasy games, but I think he's in the category with Justin Fields prior to, obviously, week 1 this season. but to where he's not a real life good quarterback at all. Like he's just not a good quarterback.
Okay.
Detroit
Detroit
don't
wins
know.
this game?
Yeah, I honestly think Detroit comes out hella hot. They got kind of embarrassed week one. I think they blow the Bears out.
Fun fact here, Jared Goff's record when Sean McVay or Ben Johnson isn't his play caller, 0-19-1.
That's a bad stat. Hey, I wish you would have told me that before I picked that one, but no, I'm still going. I'm still going
picking Detroit as well, yeah. But there is part of me that thinks Ben Johnson comes out here and he comes out blazing and they win. Maybe this is going to be a good game. I don't know, but I'm worried about Caleb against a good defense, and like Minnesota's defense, once the scripted plays were out the window, Caleb Williams kind of fell apart.
He looked so bad, dude.
But the upside, I did love that he was running, which we didn't see much last year. But I think Detroit gives him a hard time this week. So I'm also going with the Lions. The 49ers travel to New Orleans to take on the Saints. The Niners are 3-point road favorites and over-under of 40.5.
I wouldn't say the Niners are traveling. I would say half the Niners squad is traveling to New Orleans. Half the others is on the IR, so they're not even traveling.
The Niners and some practice squad guys are coming to New Orleans. No Brock Purdy. That means Mac Jones is back, baby. And as bad as Mac Jones is, he was great for Brian Thomas Jr. last year. Mm-hmm. So I'm still willing to play Ricky Pearsall. Especially with no Juwan Jennings and no George Kittle and Kendrick Bourne's there, but how long until he gets affiliated and up to speed there? So I'm not worried about Pearsall as a flex guy, and obviously Christian McCaffrey is your probable RB1 on your team. You're putting him in, and that is it.
Yeah, I agree to those two. So Mac Jones did hyper target BTJ, so he hyper targeted the best guy in the offense. Do you think he hyper targets Pearsall, or do you think he hyper targets McCaffrey because McCaffrey's the best guy in the offense?
Both. I
like the sound of that because I have both guys on my home week.
I would be willing to say he takes 3 deep shots to Ricky Pearsall against the Saints. Mm-hmm. And I'm also willing to say Christian McCaffrey gets 10 targets.
I don't know if he's going to have as many targets as he would with Purdy, because Purdy has I don't like Purdy, but he has the ability to be 1, 2, 3, 4 McCaffrey. He knows when to get that ball out.
Yeah. Purdy's exceptional going through his reads. Yeah. Yeah,
Mac Jones isn't as good as that. He's like a 1-2 target kind of guy. He doesn't really look that way. But I think McCaffrey's still good for 5 to 6 catches. I don't think it's going to be 9 like it was week 1.
Yeah. But nobody else in San Francisco.
I totally agree.
Even if Juwan Jennings plays, I'm not willing to put him out.
Not playing him. Nope.
New Orleans is a different story. This is crazy. Alvin Kamara, you're going to play him. You're going to play Chris Olave. You're going to play Juwan Johnson. And I think you could play Rashid Shaheed. He had 9 targets week 1.
In full point PPR, he had 10 points. He played 85% of snaps. He was wide receiver 40 on the week. 9 targets, 6 catches, 33 yards. He's the touchdown. He's like the explosive guy. If you do that exact same stat line every game, and then some of those games you throw a touchdown onto it, hey, I'll take that happily, brother. And we got to kind of give Spencer Rattler his flowers. He didn't have a great completion percentage, but he didn't have a lot of bad passes. He looked way better than he did last season. I think Olave, Shaheed, Johnson, and Kamara, they're not locked in guys and you're not happy to start them. But I think you could start those guys with more confidence than you could have week 1, for sure. All 4 of them.
Yeah, we can give Spencer Rattler his flowers, but I think we got to give Kellen Moore some props too. I think he is.
It's a Kellen Moore thing, for sure. He's amazing.
Yeah. They play so fast. They have so many plays.
So fast.
Their pace of play is crazy, and maybe that's good for Spencer Rattler because not a lot of time to be stuck in his own head.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. And I think that is the offense he needs to be running. He needs to be quick. He needs to be fast. West Coast kind of offense. Just keep the ball moving.
I do kind of hope we get Tyler Shuck in here at some point because I think Tyler Shuck and the Kellen Moore offense is going to click really well. But Spencer Rattler, he was fine. And he did enough to hold these players to fantasy relevance. And Kendre Miller, I'm not playing him, but I would roster him. He's the clear-cut backup to Alvin Kamara. It's not Devin Neal. it was all Kendre Miller, and Alvin Kamara does get banged up.
I agree, but I don't know if I'd be willing to roster him. He was only on the field for 15% of snaps, to where like Brian Robinson, McCaffrey was almost on the field for 25% of snaps. I honestly think there's like, we're giving the ball to Kamara. He's the only running back we really trust.
Yeah, but Kamara does that. I brought up.
Yeah, he gets hurt.
He gets banged up. So I think the Kelvin Moore running back's valuable, and it's clearly going to be Kendre Miller if Alvin Kamara goes down.
Yeah, Devin Neal only saw 2 carries for 9 yards, which is a nice average, 4.5. But yeah, it would be Kendre Miller.
Do the Niners pull this off with their injured squad against the Saints?
I think they do. I think they do. I think Robert Salas is a good defensive coordinator. He's going to be able to hone in on this offense, being Rattler, Kamara, Olave, Shaheed Johnson. I think, and then on the other side of the ball, they got McCaffrey. If you got McCaffrey, I think you have any chance of being in the game because of how explosive he is. So,
and Kyle Shanahan will tone down Mac Jones. Mac Jones was a wild man in Jacksonville last year. He was just no fear.
If you want to go off all the reports, this is the guy he wanted. He wanted Mac Jones over Trey Lance when they drafted him. Yeah. This is your chance with Mac Jones. If you really thought Mac Jones was the guy, I kind of expect Mac Jones to come out here and run this offense flawlessly. I'm not going to lie to you. So
it will be fine. So I'm not worried about it. And then for Purdy to miss time, this is a good stretch to do it because the schedule coming up is winnable games. It's like Arizona, Jacksonville, New Orleans. Those are games the Niners can win.
Guess what? That's the Niners' schedule all season, brother. Well, they have a cakewalk of a schedule.
That's true. Next up, New England, the Patriots, divisional matchup. They travel to Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 2.5-point home favorites.
I think that's a crime. I honestly think that is a joke. I don't know what the books are doing.
So back in the days, it used to be you would be 3 points was the home favorite.
You get 3 points for being at home. Yes.
It is now since dropped. It's only 1.5. You get 1.5 points for being the home favorite now. A little old myth that has been changed. So
I still don't think they should be favored.
Yeah, the over/under is 43.5. I also don't think they should be favored. Tyreek Hill, he hasn't had a reception over 30 yards in 2 years. Jalen Waddle, always banged up, always out there, but Devon Achane just can't seem to get anything efficient going, but he gets a ton of targets and a workload. Like, he's the Dolphin I'm not afraid to play. I will put Devon Achane in my lineup, and I will be fine with it. Yeah. Tyreek scares the living bejeebus out of me if I have him. Like, I don't want to play him, and I don't want to play Jalen Waddle, but I also don't want to fear Tua getting the time and making these reads and getting the ball to these guys, because both these guys could drop 20 points.
I think I'm willing to let them drop 20 points on my bench this week. I'm not going to lie to you. Okay. Waddle was my guy of the year, my gem. Tua's killing me, dude. And I brought that up constantly, that like Jalen Waddle, in order for him to succeed, it's on the back of Tua. That guy made 2 or 3 of the ugliest throws I possibly have ever seen, and that was in one game last week versus the Colts. And I don't know what the hell that guy saw. I don't know what his thought process was.
Did you hear the quote from former Dolphins corner Xavier Howard, who's now on the Colts?
No.
Yeah, he was just like, playing with Tua. He's like, I know that if you get him off his first read, he panics and doesn't know what to do. So that was their focus, was take away the first read, and it worked.
And that's smart. Tua's turnovers literally come in bunches. Like, they're big. Like, once you get him off balance, they start piling up. And I seen a reporter ask him about it, and Tua got really defensive. He was like, I don't turn the ball over bunches. I think that's insane. Like, come on, dude. Like, you got to own up to that. Like, just, it was your fault. It is what it is.
It is a shit show in Miami. Did you hear Mike McDaniel's report about Darren Waller?
Yes, that one's like, I don't get any of it.
Oh, it is what it is. If he's out there, he's out there. But maybe we got to figure something out. I don't know. Like, you were the coach of his team.
Exactly. At
he's
this
not going
point,
to be there much longer.
That's the thing. He's not going to be there, and I think he kind of realizes that.
It is Devon Achane, and if I have to, I will put Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle in my lineup. But if I have better options, I'd move. This is going to be crazy. I would play Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman over both those guys.
So then I would assume you'd also play DJ Moore over Tyreek.
Yes.
Asking for a friend. Yeah? Okay.
Yes, I would. I mm, I was gonna say I'd play Michael Pittman over them, but they play Denver, so that one I'm a
Ooh.
little
City,
iffy on.
baby.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. That's
New
something.
England
That's
side.
I can't wait to get there.
Yeah. The New England side. Drake May, he's streamable. I kind of would put him in the same boat as, I would play him over Goff and Caleb. I would play him over um, Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
That might be it of those guys we talked about. Like, I think I would play Jordan Love over him. And
Bo Nix?
Yeah, I would play Bo over Drake this week.
Dak Prescott?
Yeah, I would play Dak too.
What about JJ?
I would go Drake May over JJ.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have those guys in the same bucket for sure.
Yeah. The New England passing game, though, Kayshon Boutte was the guy week 1, but he's now limited in practice. I'm willing to throw a flyer at him. I picked him up in a ton of leagues.
He should definitely be rostered. Yeah, for sure.
I think if he's out there and playing, you put him in your flex. I'm comfortable with that. Travion Henderson, he was the most efficient back there. I'm still keeping him in my lineup. Seth Diggs, I'm a little worried about. Hunter Henry's a fine streamer, and Ramondre Stevenson should just be sitting on a bench. I wouldn't drop him because if something happens to Travion Henderson, he's the running back. But
even then, he's still not efficient. Henderson, I would honestly be cool if you have a better option still benching. He's not out there for a ton of snaps. He was only out there for 35% of snaps. It's still technically Ramondre's backfield, quote for quote, but Henderson, it's going to be 50-50 within the next couple of weeks. He's so explosive. He's so much better than Ramondre. He's going to start getting way more touches. This receiving room, I'm not starting anyone per se this week, but I'm keeping an eye on all 3 guys being Diggs, Boutte, and Demario Douglas. Demario Douglas, I get, had negative yards. He still had 7 targets, though. He did score, which is an insane stat line. 2 catches, negative 2 yards, and a touchdown. What? But I'm just watching those guys to see how it breaks down, because I really like Steph Diggs a lot, and I like Boutte a lot going forward.
3.
Oh, Boutte. I'll take Boutte. Yeah.
Agree. Hunter Henry, you're cool streaming him.
Yeah, he's fine. He's an option.
Yeah, same boat as all those other guys. Like Hunter Henry, Miami got ripped up by Tyler Warren, so I think Hunter Henry's a nice play. I have him in the home league, and I didn't shy away from moving on from him, even though I did try to get Juwan Johnson.
He also he was on the field a bunch. He was on the field for 93% of snaps. He saw 8 targets. I expected to be very similar kind of game plan in Miami. And I'm taking New England for sure.
Yeah. All right, before we dive into the 4:00 games, let's shout out our other affiliate over at Finley Hats. Finley Hats are built for good times and long times. They got a lifetime warranty. So if your hat is damaged or destroyed, they'll replace it or repair it absolutely free. They do weekly drops. This week, they're doing Halloween stuff, spooky season. They got an Art the Clown hat. They got a Ghostface hat that is checkerboard. They got a Freddy Krueger one. They got a ton of horror stuff. They even got like the Spirit Halloween logo. It just says Finley, so it's cool drop this week. If you're in the spooky season, they're out there. Those drop every Friday. So check out our friends over at Finley Force. Click the link in the bio, and if it is your first time purchasing a hat from them, you'll get a nice 15% out, courtesy of the Drafted Up podcast. Finley hats, built for good times, built for long times. Check them out and join the Finley Force.
You said Art the Clown, and I'm like, whoa. Hey, yo, that's my boy.
Yeah.
You talking Art? Yeah. You got my attention, brother.
Yeah. I saw the drop this week. I'm like, these are Nick hats.
These are Knicks hats. Let's go. Maybe I got a hat coming on my way.
Carolina Panthers travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Cardinals are 6.5 point home favorites over under a 44.5.
Not enough. Carolina's dog shit.
Wow.
I think Arizona's the way you we talked about this during the division. The way you see Seattle, I see Arizona, and I don't think Carolina can compete with that.
It's Seattle's defense that I see. I'm way more confident in Seattle's defense than I am in the offense. But James Conner, I'll plug him in. He should have been our start of the week, but I feel that would have been a cop out on both of our parts.
I couldn't go
because
Connor back-to-back weeks. That's my problem. But man, I
that's your
really
rule?
wanted to go.
You got a rule. I don't go back to back. I would have.
I do. I got my own little. It's like a baseball. It's an unwritten rule. But yeah, no, I can't go Connor back-to-back. But Connor is probably going to be the RB1 on the week, with the absolute RB1 on the week. Carolina is historically bad at stopping the run.
Yep, that stems back from last year. It hasn't changed. They couldn't stop Travis
Well, look at Etienne last week. Etienne killed it.
Trey Benson, you willing to flex him? He's 8 for 69 last week. It wouldn't surprise me if Arizona doesn't pass a ton in this game, and we just see Benson and Connor just run rampant.
Yeah, Benson is a nasty flex start for sure. I would agree to
that. Obviously, you're not going to bench Trey McBride. Marvin Harrison does give me a little worry that this team just gets up early, sort of like how we saw the Saints game going, and the Saints game was way more competitive than we expected, but it does worry me that Carolina just gets up early or Arizona gets up early and Carolina's offense can't hang. And Marv just kind of has like a 3 for 30 game, but I'm not going to try to push him out of my lineup.
No, I'm still cool with Marv. He was almost out there for 90% of snaps. He was a wide receiver 1 on the week. He was wide receiver 12, so a top 12. 6 targets. He brought in 5 for 70 in the tutty. I'm cool with Marv. He could go off.
Yeah. And Kyler, you're going to play him. Would you? Yeah, we kind of had him over Dak Prescott, but that would be close to the same bucket for me. But I would slightly lean Kyler over Dak.
I'm willing to say Carolina is going to allow 200 rushing yards again this week. I think between Murray, Connor, and Benson. Arizona's going to go off rushing yard wise.
Yeah. Carolina side, Chuba Hubbard, you can play him.
Start him. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm still playing Teteroa McMillan as well.
I agree. Yep.
I'm not shying away from him. And then I'm just watching the other guys. I'm seeing how Xavier Leggette's involvement is, and JT Sanders, and Hunter Renfrow. Rico Dowdle, we've brought him up. I think you could drop him now, even though he did play 25-ish% of snaps, but I don't think he's going to be overly involved.
Exactly, yeah. Like, I would still keep an eye on JT Sanders. He saw 3 targets, brought in 2. He wasn't used a bunch, but he was out there. Leggett was out there for almost 80% of snaps. 7 targets, so just watch Leggette's targets. He didn't bring in a bunch of them. He's a 50-50 kind of ball catcher, so it's very similar to Quentin Johnson and guys like that we've talked about. It's going to be highs and lows for Leggett, but he's going to have spike weeks. He's a best ball kind of guy.
Yeah. Carolina, easy. Cardinals win this game?
Yeah, Arizona.
I agree. Denver Broncos travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. The Broncos are 1.5 point road favorites.
So intrigued by this game, dude. Because Bo Nix looked like shit, and the Colts looked like they were ran by Peyton Manning last week. So I'm so interested in this game.
Yeah. Like, I'm still gonna play Bo Nix. I would play Bo Nix
for the most part,
over Dak Prescott if I had them both. I would play Kyler over Bo. I would put Kyler over Bo, but chances that you have both those guys is probably slim. But Jonathan Taylor, he's off the injury report, which is great to hear.
God.
So put him in. Even with the tough matchup, Tony Pollard looked good against this Denver defense. Jonathan Taylor is a step above Tony Pollard. It's really Michael Pittman Jr. Daniel Jones loves this guy, apparently. I'm not messing with Josh Downs yet. I know he has a hamstring injury. I think that was more of why he was less involved week 1, and the fact that they were just up early, that they kind of just phased him out of the lineup. Whereas this game should be more competitive. Josh Downs will probably be out there more, but I'm not going to play him yet, but I'm going to watch, make sure like that's the case. And if it is, I wouldn't have cut him after week 1. I saw a bunch of people give up on Josh Downs already and moved him on. I'm still rostering him. And if he comes out here and he's on the field a bunch week 1 in a game that's going to be a little bit closer, should be, that gives me a little more hope that he is more involved in this offense. But I think you can play Michael Pittman.
I agree. I think Pittman is a flex option.
It's ugly. It's a tough option because he's playing against Patrick Surtain, but I would hold him in the same boat as Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. And I think I would lean the 2 Dolphins guys.
I would lean Pittman over Waddle.
Okay. You're looking more of a floor play.
And then I would take Tyreek over Pittman just based off Tyreek, the upside. He could drop 30 points in a drop of a hat. But I think Pittman's going to be good for, especially PPR leagues, easily 12 points. Probably going forward with Danny Jones, the quarterback. He's the number one read. Besides Warren, he's the number one receiver. Downs is going to be out there on the field when they're running three receivers. He's the easy slot receiver in this room. I don't know how often he's going to be out there on two receiver sets. That seems more of a job for Alex Pierce for sure. It's his kind of role. He's always played the outside, to where Downs has always played the slot. So I would easily take Downs over Alec Pierce easily. It's not even a question, especially on a roster. And I honestly think Josh Downs is more talented than Michael Pittman. I would die on that hill. I would very confident in Josh Downs, but Pittman is more of Danny Jones kind of receiver. He's a bigger guy. He's more alpha dog. He has a high
Danny
catch
Jones
radius.
loved Wan'Dale Robinson, though.
I don't know if he loved Wan'Dale or if the offensive system loved Rondale, because we're still doing the exact same shit with Wan'Dale.
Yeah, Daniel Jones actually had
there.
time. He didn't have to throw the ball in half a second.
And I think that's huge for Danny Jones. The offensive line in Indianapolis last week looked amazing, and they kept that guy upright all game for the most part.
Yeah, sitting a year with Kevin O'Connell did this dude wonders. I'm having Kevin O'Connell take the credit for
You're
this.
You're taking the credit.
Tyler Warren, playing him.
Yeah, what the hell kind of question is that?
Hey, tough defense. So, like,
I think there's maybe three tight ends that I would start over Tyler Warren.
Over him? That's your dude?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I think I would take Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Trey McBride. And that honestly might be it.
Yeah, because George Kittle's out. So yeah.
Tyler Warren might be the third best tight end in football already, to be honest.
For fantasy.
Yes.
Evan Ingram.
Maybe real life, brother. He could be a goddamn boat.
Yeah. Moving on to Denver, Evan Ingram, how do you feeling about him coming off got injured, but he practiced in full today, so that's a little bit better.
He practiced in full, so if you have to play him, you can play him. It's a little bit riskier this week for sure.
Would you play Juwan Johnson over Evan Ingram?
Yes, easily.
Agree. RJ Harvey and Jacob Dobbins. I think you could play both guys.
You can play both if you have to. Yeah,
there's a little risk built in with them. I would hold both of those guys in the same boat as Javonte Williams and all those guys. We kind of clumped into that bucket.
I think I would have Javonte a little bit higher just because he's not in a split system like both those guys. Yeah. Like JK and RJ are going to eat each other's carries, to where Javonte doesn't have that kind of guy in that room right now.
Yeah. Cortland Sutton, lock him in. He was great. He was the bright spot despite Bo Nix looking abysmal week one. Cortland Sutton got in the end zone. He should have had 2 touchdowns, but he's clearly the alpha here. And as much as I love Marvin Mims, I'm not putting him in my lineup. Same with Troy Franklin. These are just guys I'm kind of stashing on my bench.
Yeah, I stashed Pat Bryan in a very deep league at the start of the year, and I actually cut him this week for Troy Franklin because it's a very deep league. It's like 14, 16 team leagues. And Troy Franklin happened to be on the market, and I made the swap. I think Troy Franklin's going to be way more involved, especially early, than Pat Bryant.
Mm-hmm. Denver win, or are you going Indy?
No, I'm going Denver. I think the Colts are going to be decent this year. I don't think they're going to be what they were week one, obviously, but I think they're going to be competitive throughout the season.
I'm still riding my. That's my take. I'm the most worried about. Is that I said the Colts were going to be like one of the 5 worst teams in football.
I would definitely be worried about that take.
That
I don't even know what
nice
take I would be worried about. I would have to think about that.
Yeah, but yeah, Denver. I'll take it. Denver. If Bo Nix comes out and shits the bed again, though,
I'm worried. I'm worried at that point. Yeah. I'm not worried right now, but if it's 2 weeks and then versus the Colts defense, the Colts defense is fine. It's not great though. I need to see something from Bo Nix this week for sure.
If he comes out and he throws 2 interceptions again, and the Colts defense makes him look like Tua, oh, daddy, I am hitting the panic alarm.
This game's big for Bo. He could drop down like a tier if he shits the bed. He could easily become like a streamable quarterback after this game if it goes bad.
Yeah. Here we go. Big games. Philadelphia Eagles travel to Kansas City to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Super Bowl rematch. The Chiefs are underdogs at home. The Eagles are 1.5 point favorites. Over under a 46.5. Eagles are easy. I am in on the receiving crew, like I said in my starts of the week. Devonta Smith, lock him in. AJ Brown, lock him in, and obviously you're starting Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, no matter what.
Yep.
And if you're benching them, you're a madman. I would love to hear the science around that. Dallas
Yeah, for
Goedert,
sure.
I'm not playing him, even if he's out there. I'm not messing around with the potential of that injury flaring up.
There's just too many streamable tight ends that you don't have to risk a guy getting re-injured in a game. So yeah, even if Goddard ends up playing, I'm not starting that guy.
Yeah. Kansas City though, Patrick Mahomes, put him in. If you drafted him, he's Dak Prescott looked good against this Eagles defense. He just didn't score a touchdown, so I'm fine with Mahomes. I think he's a good option this week.
Yeah, he's playable.
I think Hollywood Brown is a good play, and I think Juju is a sneaky, disgusting play if you got to make one.
Yeah, deep leagues, yeah, for sure.
The running backs in Kansas City, I'm not messing with. I'm not playing Kareem Hunt or Isaiah Pacheco this week.
If you have to play Pacheco in like your flex, I would be fine with it. Just based off of, hey, it's a volume kind of thing. Him and Kareem Hunt are both going to be out there, but Pacheco, in my eyes, is still the lead back. I would try to find a way out of it, though. I would try to find a receiver to plug in there. But if you have to play Pacheco at the end of the day,
and how do you feel about Travis Kelce?
oh man, he had such a rough performance. It was like 2 catches. He luckily got in the end zone. But I think you can play him. I expect this game to be a hell of a lot closer than the Super Bowl was. I expect Kansas City to obviously be in the game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout like it was. So I'm cool with Brown and I'm cool with Kelce.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm content playing Kelce. I obviously am not going to expect a big game, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does have a dud. But I'm not pushing him out of my lineup.
No, I would still start him. I'm fine with that. And the touch on the receivers, I didn't touch on the receivers real quick.
Chiefs fall to 0-2, or do these teams balance out and go to 1-1?
Let me touch on the receivers real quick. I think Hollywood Brown is startable if Worthy doesn't play, and even if Worthy does play, I think it's going to be a decoy kind of situation. But Brown obviously is going to take a hit if Worthy's out there. But Brown's probably the only guy I would start, even if Worthy plays. I wouldn't start Worthy. Oh man, Kansas City starting 0-2 just seems insane and so unlikely to happen. But I'm picking Philadelphia.
Yeah. Hollywood is the only one I'm going to start confidently, but I think Juju is just a guy to keep an eye on. And if an injury flares up late in the week, I think he's a guy you could push into your lineup and just expect like he was 5 for 55 week 1. So the Chiefs utilize him when he's in there.
Yeah, for sure.
Who are you going with here, Philadelphia or Kansas City?
Give me Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia as well. Chiefs start 0-2. Sunday night football. We got a college national championship rematch. The Atlanta Falcons travel to Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Michael Penix versus J.J. McCarthy. The Vikings are 3.5-point home favorites, over under a 44.5. Drake London being out there is huge for me. I was worried that if he wasn't out there, that Atlanta would just struggle to move the ball against a very hyperactive Minnesota defense. And now Minnesota's lost their play caller on defense. Blake Cashman went on IR. So I think this could be a shootout. And that's how I've just projected every Atlanta game for the season. Bijan Robinson, you're keeping him in. Drake London, even with the injury, play him. And I think Kyle Pitts is also a good play. I'm not messing around with Darnell Mooney, even if he's out there. I just need to see him out there before I have confidence to put him in my lineup. And then I think Michael Penix has streaming capabilities through the season. I don't know if I would mess with it this week though. I think Michael Penix's fantasy value really comes when bye weeks start rolling in and he becomes a good stream option.
Yeah, I would kind of lean away from Penix this week. He had a rushing touchdown, which I don't expect to happen often. He also had 21 yards on the ground, which I don't expect to happen often. He's a real pocket kind of guy. I'm cool with everyone else, though. Bijan, you're starting. London, you're starting regardless. And then Kyle Pitts, I like a lot this year. I think Kyle Pitts has huge upside this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He moved around pretty good for a pocket passer against the Bucs. Like he handled the pressure really well in Tampa, and Flores is going to bring the heat. So we'll see how Penix handles that kind of pressure compared to the Todd Bowles defense. Minnesota side, obviously, Justin Jefferson's in your lineup. TJ Hawkinson off the bad game. You're still keeping him in there. I think both running backs are also playable. Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. How do you feel about Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason? Are you fine starting both of them, or are you leaning one way or the other on one of those guys?
No, I would expect. I mean, if you have both of them, I wouldn't start both of them. But if you have one of them, they should be in your flex spot at the worst. I think both are easily RB2 material flex guys this week, especially in a huge matchup versus Atlanta. I think it's going to be a high-powered game. Both offenses are going to be putting up a decent amount of points, I think. What's the over-under again?
44.5.
I would take the over on that one for sure. I expect both offenses to be firing pretty hot come Sunday night. I think both guys are startable for sure.
Yeah. And now I know you were more worried about Hawkinson than I was. Like I expected the Hawkinson week 1 to just be a little lower than where he was being ranked. Are you concerned going into this game off that performance week 1 with TJ?
I mean, you drafted Hawkinson to start him because he was still like a 5th, 6th round kind of guy. So with the round he was drafted, you drafted him to start. I would personally start Juwan Johnson over him this week, though.
Okay, that's spicy.
For sure.
I don't hate it though. You messing around with Adam Thielen?
Nah.
No.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah. McCarthy and Penix. Who would you start?
JJ.
Okay.
Higher rushing upside. I get Penix had that nice rushing touchdown. That's not going to happen. Penix isn't a rushing quarterback.
Yeah.
And I see people online like proclaiming he's like, oh, he's a mobile quarterback. It's like we got Vic again. No, dog. What the hell? Penix is not a mobile quarterback.
Brother just has great pocket presence.
Exactly. He knows, I have a huge lane in front of me. I'm going to take off. Where JJ has rushing ability. I will
give this. I do not know how he got a touchdown on that play. That was incredible.
I agree. The dive was insane, dude.
I was also worried when he did it. I'm like, oh my God, his legs shattered.
He's going to die. He's going to die.
Yeah. Anything else for this game?
No, I don't think so. I would start a lot of guys, but like you said, Thielen, I'm not really particularly starting. Mooney, if he's not out there, I'm starting. Algier, I'm not starting, but almost everybody else, I'm cool starting.
Yeah. Who wins Sunday Night Football? Another primetime game for J.J. McCarthy.
Give me Minnesota.
I'm also going Minnesota. A little fun fact, J.J. McCarthy hasn't lost a regular season game since like his second year in high school. That streak will obviously end this year. All right, Monday night, we got 2 games. Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, they travel to Houston to take on the Texans. Texans 2.5-point home favorites, over under of 42.5. Bucky Irving, you're obviously going to put him in. Baker Mayfield, obviously start him. Mike Evans, you're not moving on from him. The question is, Emeka Egbuka, how confident are you starting him? He had 2 touchdowns week 1, rookie debut. He was 4 for 67. Would you play him over, say, a more established name like Marvin Harrison?
Marv was a good pull. I would put his line around where I'm putting Jameson Williams' line, and I think I would start Marv over both of them.
I would also start Marv over Emeka Egbuka. But I think Emeka Egbuka is a good play. I think he could be the wide receiver 2. Top 24 play again this week.
Yeah, 100%.
At worst, he's a flex guy, and that doesn't hurt at all. Bucky Irving, efficiency-wise, he wasn't great, but he was the bell cow dude here in Tampa Bay. Put him in. Mike Evans, Baker Mayfield, I'm not worried about either of those guys. Tampa Bay, you love to see them. They make fantasy really easy.
Yeah, they're one of those teams that make it so simple, dude. And I love that. I respect it.
Speaking of simple, Houston Texans, I think the only player I'm willing to play on the Texans offense is Nico Collins. I know Chubb had 61 yards rushing, and running backs are hard to come by, but like all those guys in the Javonte Williams bucket, Tyrone Tracy, Jalen Warren, I would play all those guys over Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I would. He's under the Pacheco line for sure. I would easily start Pacheco over Nick Chubb.
I think I would go Chubb
over Pacheco.
I think I would.
Oh, that's crazy, brother.
Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. I think he's got more carries than Pacheco has, but I think Pacheco's I don't trust Nick Chubb at all.
I mean, Pacheco does potentially give you passing upside, but I figure Kareem Hunt takes that role, and Pacheco and Nick Chubb are essentially the same running back. But Nick Chubb doesn't have Kareem Hunt backing him up. He's got Dare Ogunbowale, who was played more than he should have, and he fumbled, and he cost the team the game. But I think I would lean Nick Chubb. I don't want to play either of them. Like, that is a truly, like, ugh. If you got to make the decision, I would lean Chubb over Pacheco. But I do think Pacheco would have a bigger ceiling.
Yeah, I would say Pacheco has the higher upside, and that's what I'm just going to try to shoot for there. I don't think either guy's in particularly a good spot this week, but just give me the guy with the higher upside. He's also on the way better team.
Yeah. Nico Collins, obviously you're playing him. You messing around with Jaden Higgins?
No, not yet.
No.
Even though he did lead the team in receiving yards last week with 32, which isn't a lot, but he led the team. So I don't know if Kirk's going to be out there. He's still not practicing, I believe. No, he made his first practice of the week this week. So he is practicing, not full, though. So he's not going to be 100%. So I'm not even looking at Kirk's way. I'm not looking at Higgins. I'm not looking at Knoll. Especially not Dalton Schultz in the tight end spot. But
I was actually going to ask Dalton Schultz. Kyle Pitts put up some numbers on the Bucs defense.
I mean, we brought up the Brock Bowers thing. Like, if you have Brock Bowers and he's deemed out and you move him to your IR, and Dalton Schultz is the only tight end going on Monday because for some reason someone has Kate Otten, that would be a weird scenario.
I would play Schultz over Otten.
I was just about to say I would probably play Schultz over Otten anyways. So
I would probably
give me
play
Dalton
Schultz over Mayer too. Dalton Schultz might be the guy I'd be putting in if I had Brock Bowers.
I would not. I would go Mayer because Brock Bowers isn't out there. He would get all the targets for the tight end spot.
That's fair as well. CJ Stroud, where do you hold him in terms of like the guys with Penix and McCarthy and Trevor Lawrence?
Over Tua, under Danny Jones.
Okay. Under Trevor Lawrence?
Yes.
Okay.
But I have Danny Jones above Trevor Lawrence.
Okay. I don't, but I would start Daniel Jones over CJ Stroud, maybe. That one's a little tough.
He's got rushing upside. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. I'm going Tampa here, though.
Yeah, give me Tampa Bay, for sure.
Yeah. All right, final Monday night game. The Chargers travel to Vegas to take on division rival, the Las Vegas Raiders. Chargers are 3-point road favorites, over under 46.5 points. You got some starts of the week here. Justin Herbert, Jacoby Myers. Chargers side, I think they're easy. I am willing to play all three of their wide receivers this week. Keenan Allen, Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson. I think they're all good plays. Amari Hampton, I'm not going to push him out of my lineup, but I think he's more RB2 right now than an RB1, but I'm not moving him. I would have him above the Javonte line. But
for sure.
Yeah, but
I think at worst he's an RB2. I'm still very high on Hampton. I get he wasn't as involved as we would want week one, but he still was the predominant lead back in an offense that I absolutely adore with a phenomenal offensive line. So, give me Hampton going forward for sure.
And then Vegas, Brock Bowers, if he's out there, you're playing him. Even if he's banged up, you're not moving on. You're not taking that risk. I think Jacoby Myers is a great play as well. And I'm not moving on from Janty either. I don't care that he had 40 yards, but he did still find the end zone. Whereas I'm interested in playing all three Chargers receivers, I find it harder to bring myself to wanting to play Dante Thornton or Trey Tucker outside of Jacoby Myers, but I think both those guys should be on a roster.
Yeah, for sure. I really like those guys for like DSP play, like the daily bettings. I would take high upsides on both those guys. Really deep dynasty leagues, you can play them in.
They're
best ball, you can play them in. Right now, though, in redraft leagues, 10 to 12 team leagues, it's kind of hard to be that they should be on rosters. But I think in like deeper 12-man leagues and especially 14 team leagues, that both these guys should be on rosters for sure.
Yeah. To keep an eye on them. Trey Tucker had less targets than Thornton, but he did score the touchdown. And there is upside in this offense. If Geno Smith's going to be passing like he did week one and getting 300-plus yards every week, like these guys, someone's going to break through, and it'll just be a matter of who. And let's not forget Jack Besh as well. He's in this.
Yeah, he had a nice catch for like 20, 25 yards. I think Thornton and Tucker kind of switch off as the touchdown kind of guy. I think they're just going to be whatever one comes up with the deep pass that day is going to get the touchdown. And so essentially best ball plays, but low end flex kind of guys if you need a high ceiling.
Yeah. I think if Tucker comes out here and scores another deep touchdown, he's going to be a guy.
Then he's the guy. Yeah,
top priority on waivers. This should be a fun game. I'm excited for this one. I'm going to go with the Chargers though. I think they start 2-0.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm really in on the Chargers. Obviously, I'm going with LA.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Week 2 in the books. Rounded out those games, man. I can't wait for bye weeks. They're the worst for fantasy football, but they're the best for the podcast because we're not here for 2 hours running through these games. No matter how much we try to time constraint it, it still goes.
It's not possible.
Yeah, we can't do it. So we appreciate you guys if you did hang around for this whole episode. These Thursday ones are a little long. Believe me, I appreciate that. You guys are willing to hang around because you're dedicating 2 hours of your day to listen to us just ramble about football. But there we go. Drafted Up Podcast Tuesday. We'll be back. A little week 1 recap. Week 2 recap. We're trying to figure out a way to kind of make that different instead of going through those games and making it too similar to our Thursday episode. So we're toying with ideas, and we're also bringing back the Prospect Spotlight series. So we're going to talk a little college ball on Tuesday, along with the week 2 action of the NFL. That's Nick. I'm Theo. This is the Drafted Up Podcast. Like, rate, subscribe, review, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you watch or listen to. We appreciate it. We will catch you guys next week. Adios.
Bye, y'all. Good luck this week. Bye.